Hi friends, welcome to my care channel Civil Agriculture Tutorials channel. Today the subject is pile foundations, which are a kind of deep foundation. So let us discuss in detail regarding the pile foundation. As we know, the pile foundation has got two types of foundations, means it has got two types of pile foundation. One is end bearing pile foundation, or another is skin friction pile foundation. So first we will know, or we will see how this is being done. See, this is a boring machine and it bores a hole into the earth up to the concerned level. Means this part will be soft strata, and then beneath you will get a rock strata at a certain distance. It could be in meters, it could be maybe 1 or 2 meter, maybe it goes to 10 meter, it can go to 30, 50 meter. It depends upon the area available. So once the hard strata is derived, that boring will stop, and then they will put the reinforcement like this, and then with the help of bentonite and concrete they will make this concrete pile. So this is the process by which we are making pile foundation, which is also a deep foundation. So these things we are doing according to the nature of the earth. So that means where we want to use the pile foundation depends upon the soil condition. So it normally we are using pile foundation when the bearing capacity of the soil is very low and the load above the superstructure is very heavy and it is unevenly distributed. Then it means we have to go for pile foundation. Another thing is that if that soil contains water, the water content in that area is very big, or if it is very nearby to a water body, then also the permeability of the soil will be very high and it affects the bearing capacity of the soil. So we need to find a strata where the wall load of structure should be adequately. So at that condition we go for pile foundation, and pile can be of different types. We will discuss in detail. The first type of pile is sheet piles, which I discussed in a video which I did before. Different types of sheet piles we are using. It could be steel, timber, RCC. I discussed in detail in a video which I did before. Please refer that. So sheet pile is, as you can see, it is there to preserve the earth, or to protect the earth nearby to a watery body. Or we are using steel piles sometimes to increase the bearing capacity of soil. When we are applying the steel piles, sheet piles, then it compacts the soil so that it increases the bearing capacity of the soil. That is one thing. Then after the sheet piles, the second type is load bearing piles. So just with the help of the diagram which I discussed, this is a load bearing type. Load bearing pile. Okay, load bearing pile can be two types, that is end bearing piles and skin friction type of piles. End bearing piles, this is the which I discussed right now, is an end bearing pile. End bearing pile means the load which acts from the top transfers to the pile, and this load transfers to the rock strata below it. Okay, so always the end bearing pile will always transfer the load which comes from the superstructure to a harder strata which is beneath, and it might be a rock strata or some other hard strata. Soil type can be vary, but it should be a hard strata which can take the whole load of the superstructure there. So the pile acts just to transfer one load from above to down. That's it. The second type is skin friction type pile. Means, see, this is the load bearing, the first one, soft soil and beneath hard strata, it transfers load from here to down. This is skin friction. Skin friction type pile means sometimes the hard strata may be far below at a very high depth. It could be maybe 20 or 30 or 40 meters. So economically it is not feasible to do a piling up to that level, because with just one pile the load cannot be bared of the whole structure. We cannot bear the whole load of superstructure with one pile. Maybe the number of piles will be 10 or 12 or 20. So it is not at all economical to do a pile up to that level. The number of piles increases means the price or the project cost will also increase. So in such cases, even if it is if the soil is stiff clay or sand, then we can go for skin friction type piles. So that is it like this. For that we don't need to go up to a full depth. The surface area of the pile will act with the surrounding soil and that friction will support the load. The load will get distributed between the pile and the surrounding silty soil, clay soil, or sand. Okay, so that is called skin friction type pile. Then the third one is soil compactor tiles. Soil compactor tile means when the same piles are being introduced very close to each other, because when the bearing capacity of soil is very low, then only we go for piles. So this is another method in which we are drawing piles at very close intervals. So at close intervals means it will compress the in between soils. So when the soil get compressed, automatically the bearing capacity of the soil will increase. So such type of piles are called soil compaction piles. Okay, so in that way also we can increase the bearing capacity of soil. So then the fourth one is timber piles. Timber piles are the piles where the material used is timber only, and which is actually the traditional way method which we are using in olden times. Before the innovation of concrete, all the piles are of timber only. Maybe steel also, I don't know. Steel piles also can be used, iron piles. But now the timber piles I am telling, the advantage is that you can pull it off very easily, but to drive it into the ground it is very difficult. And the disadvantage, another thing is that you cannot make long timber piles because it depends upon the availability of the long timber piece. Because timber is at a specific length only we can get it, so that is also disadvantage. Other thing is that it can be treated timber pile or an untreated timber pile. Treated timber pile will last for 30 years, and it is very easy to drive off, and it is economically also timber piles are good, but depends upon the load. So it is usually we are using for traditional buildings or small buildings. It's not, if the superstructure load is not that much big, then we can go for timber piles. Then the fifth one is concrete piles, that is the RCC piles. RCC piles can be two types of RCC piles. That is one precast RCC piles. That is, first we will dig the hole for the pile, and this precast pile will be transferred from the factory to the site, and then they put the pile into the hole, and then that will act as a pile. Second is in situ pile. In situ pile, just I have explained before, that is they will make with the boring machine, they will dig the hole, then put the reinforcement in it and put the concrete with the bentonite mixture, and then make the concrete in situ. That is regarding the concrete piles. Then the last one, steel piles. Steel piles is of two types, that is, one is I-section piles and is hollow steel pipe. So I think by this today's video you got an overall concept regarding the types of piles, the deep foundation, regarding the nature of piles, how they are driving into the ground, what is the use of it, types of piles. So I will come with another video with another subject. Till then, goodbye. Please subscribe, share and like. Thank you very much.